Hey, it's Courier Girl. Let's talk about bookkeeping because a lot of people, that kind of gets to them if they're not numbers people. And I want to talk specifically about tax bookkeeping versus real expense bookkeeping. And it doesn't mean that you're like cooking the books or keeping a double set of books for the tax man. It just means that some expenses in this business are not tax deductible and other things are tax deductible. And because most of us take the mileage deduction and we can't deduct things like maintenance, fuel, and stuff like that, it can be a little bit confusing. And I did a video a couple weeks ago about an expense tracker. I will link that video below. So if you want a good way to track your own expenses and income, that will help you. But I really wanted to talk specifically about taxable entries or expenses versus real expenses that aren't going to have an impact on your tax. So in the courier business, and this is anybody who drives for a living, you keep a mileage log, and most people take a mileage deduction at the end of the year. So if you made, let's do round numbers, if you made $50,000 in a year and this year's mileage expense is 58.5 cents per mile and you drove 100,000 miles, you would be able to deduct $58,500. So you'd actually be in the hole. You wouldn't make any money. But that is a tax adjustment. That doesn't necessarily mean it's, that didn't cost you. You didn't have to pay the government 58.5 cents per mile you drove. So that's not money coming out of your pocket. So you have this set of books or things you pay attention to that, is your income, your tax deductions, and then your taxable income. And then you have this other side where it's what you made, what you deposited in your bank account, your income, that pretty much stays the same. And the real expenses that you paid out, the cash that you had to pay out to operate your business, the fuel costs, the maintenance costs, those are things, the cost of insurance, those are things that don't come off of your tax return because they're included in that 58.5 cents per mile. And that number changes every year. That's just for 2022. In 2021, it was 56 cents a mile. So it's a little bit different every year. So those costs that you actually paid are not directly tax deductible because you're taking the mileage deduction. And the mileage deduction can be a lot more than those costs. So like I said, you drive that 100,000 miles and you get to deduct $58,500. And these are business miles, work miles, not going around town miles. But maybe you only paid a total of $25,000 for fuel and maintenance and insurance and those things that are not tax deductible. You actually made a lot more money because your expenses weren't anywhere near your mileage deduction on your taxes. Does that make sense? So that's a big reason that I made that expense tracker, because it will help people see exactly how much they're making at the end of the day in hard dollars, hard cash, because that's what you can spend. You can't spend the mileage deduction at the grocery store. You can't use that to pay rent, but you can use the hard cash that you make. So it's important to know what your gross is. Gross means the money that came into your bank account, the money that they gave you for your work, the money that you got paid. And then your net is after your expenses. So do I keep a separate set of books? No, I use something like that expense tracker because it estimates what your taxable income is going to be because of the mileage deduction versus actual expenses. It's really handy that way. And all the calculations are done for you. You just have to put in your income and your expenses, which makes it really cool. So check out that other video and use the expense tractor. I made it for you guys to use. All you have to do is make a copy for yourself and then start using it. And understand that the income shown on your taxes is going to be different than what you actually made based on your actual income versus expenses. Okay? That's it. I just wanted to clear that up. If you have any further questions on it, let me know in the comments and I will try to clarify it even more. Have a great day and I will see you on the road.